to make a reservation. You have to get on a wait list, which can be anywhere from, hey, we opened a few spots tomorrow, to you're waiting 6 months for the pizza, but it's not being mass produced, right? Like you said, you come in early in the morning and you start the process. So by the end of the night, when people are picking up their dinner, like they've got an experience inside their box.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and you guys saw, you walked in, we were in the middle of making dough. Every single day we make everything from scratch. If we don't make it from scratch, we source the rest of our products locally within Central Ohio, Cincinnati area. And so there's a lot of thought and love and passion that goes into the process, from 6:45 in the morning when I step in here to get things going, to 9 o'clock at night when our last pizzas are getting picked up. So much happens, but you can really taste that in the pizza. At least I think so.
Oh, absolutely. So how did we get from I'm going to make some pizzas for some friends and their friends are going to enjoy it to Urban Meyer, to being on Instagram with the head ball coach, and then really at what point did you realize, holy shit, like this is amazing. I've got something that everyone is going to be clamoring for, and now I can open up my 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th location if you wanted to.
Yeah, I don't know that it still has really hit yet. Like I haven't quite had that like overwhelming moment of like, holy cow, all of this has happened. But I think what is so neat about the concept and the experience is that those folks reaching out, the Urban Meyers, the Blue Jackets, the Nina West, whoever it is within our kind of Columbus bubble here, they all reached out, like everybody else that reached out. And I think that is so neat. I wish I was smart enough to have reached out to those people and done that, but no, they, like everybody else, somebody told them, who told the next person, who told the next person. And that's what's so neat, is that we can still have this like big game of telephone across this giant city of Columbus just because something's good. I think it attests to the product, that people enjoyed it and they want to tell their friends and family, and it attests to the experience being different. And so just so neat to go on Instagram and have my DMs show up with these different OSU legends or whomever it is asking how they can get the pizza. And just such a neat experience. I come from a music background, actually, previously to this. And so typically it was me reaching out to these artists, asking to support them on tour, whatever it is, and getting to do those things, but I initiated that contact. So it's totally weird to have it kind of do a 180, and they're reaching out to me asking to be a part of my experience. Just so neat.
And that's the thing that, like, why we're doing this show and why we like Columbus so much is the sense of community that we're trying to build and grow. And I love that you said you use local products and things of that nature. And that's sort of like what the idea behind this was let's grow community, let's grow that sense of Columbus and show everybody, like, when we tell people we live in Columbus, they're like, oh, that's too bad. I'm like, no, it's not. It's a great place to live. And you mentioned people like OSU and all the folks that come from there, and the hockey team and all that stuff, and supporting a locally grown business with this amazing story. And my wife tells me about this, and I was like, oh, 7 months wait for pizza? No, we're good. But then the first time we try it, it's absolutely amazing. How long's the wait list right now?
So we've actually totally changed things up. So I guess it's kind of good that we're doing this and can kind of share more about it. But one thing that I always envisioned with this business was I wanted it to have some lead time, because I knew just from a business standpoint, in order to stay profitable, it works really well when you can know what your orders are for the week. So we know for ordering, we're not having waste. We can plan our whole business around it. I didn't necessarily want it to be as far as 6 weeks out, months out, because you want to be able to capitalize on somebody getting a pizza, them enjoying it, turning around and sharing it. Well, if those people that they share it with go and they're like, holy cow, I can't get it for another, 3 months, whatever it is, that doesn't really do us well. While obviously we're sold out, we're filling up, you would think no sweat, we still do care about getting folks pizza and feeding as many people as we can. So we totally flipped it around now. We finally caught up to a point that we were able to shrink everything down to a 2-week period. And so right now the furthest out you're going to find is 2 weeks, and we're staggering releasing those spots so that ideally anytime somebody's going on there, there's something for them to book. It might be the next day, it might be 8 days out, but it's nothing beyond that 2-week period. And for us, we've found now that we're seeing a lot of those customers that love it more frequently, like regulars. You know, they can come in once a week, twice a week, whatever it is, which is awesome for us, because when you haven't had dine-in during COVID and all of that going on, we haven't had that opportunity like restaurants do to get to know their regulars and really form that bond and connection with them. So we're finally starting to get to do that, and it's been absolutely amazing.
Before he takes the microphone away from me, I could sit here and ask you questions and pick your brain all day, but a couple of things that I want to make sure anybody who's watching or listening gets to hear. Because I listened to another podcast that you did a little while ago, and you told the whole story of like the lemon drops and the whole idea and the concept of Wizard of Za and kind of how that goes hand in hand. Can you tell us that story? And just because there's so many layers to, you know, the pizza is feel good, the story is feel good. There's just so much to unpack here. But I think that that's a really cool idea and concept.
Yeah, so the name Wizard of Za, which obviously is a play on Wizard of Oz, Za being short for pizza, was not intentional by any means. So I had created this Instagram account a few months before COVID started as more of a pizza kind of influencer account.
Okay.
You know, I loved eating pizza. I was traveling a lot for work, for music, whatever it was. And so it was a way for me to share these different pizza spots that I was experiencing. And then as coronavirus hit and I was starting to make more pizza, I was sharing that on the page. And so it was slowly transitioning into pizza I was eating to pizza I was making. And before I knew it, before I could change the name to make it whatever it was going to be, people were already associating Wizard of Za, which was the name of the account, with the pizza that I was making. And so to me, initially, I was like, oh, it's just kind of cheesy. You know, what we're doing is really serious. We're taking the artistry of pizza and bringing it back to Columbus. You know, we need to have some sort of a fancy Italian name. But eventually it was just like, no, you know, people love it. It's fun. I think it's another kind of branch off of everything that keeps people intrigued by it. They love the name. They love the little hidden meanings. You know, we do the lemon heads with every order. We make Sicilian-style pizza. Most lemons come from Sicily. And then in the Wizard of Oz, Dorothy sings where troubles melt like lemon drops. And so all sorts of tiny little things like that, where we don't want to make it cheesy and have Wizard of Oz memorabilia all over the place. Sure. But there's tiny little things. You know, we've got the yellow walkway into our hidden door, kind of like the yellow brick road. Just little things like that. In our messaging, we try to, you know, mark little things. We talk a lot about like heart and brain and courage and different parts of the Wizard of Oz story that I think can fit into the feel-good story of this dream that I had, and it coming to fruition thanks to the support of the folks in Columbus. So, now we're embracing the name with open arms.
So you said a little while ago an underground pizza place. Is that part of the whole Wizard of Za feeling to it, where we didn't get the address until 24 hours before, and there is no marking other than the wizard hat on the door? Is that all part of the same thing?
That was all coincidence, to be honest. So I always had wanted to open sort of a speakeasy restaurant. I thought that it would do really well. I knew how much people kind of in our generation love the speakeasy concepts. There's a lot of different speakeasy bars around town, but no one was doing it yet with food. And so I thought, you know, folks in Columbus would go wild for this, especially the ones in their 20s, their early 30s. And so I had pitched the idea to a few different restaurant groups, and nobody was feeling it. They just didn't think that it could survive. And for me, it was like, if the food is good enough, there's no reason why it can't. And so obviously it has. But that concept was really a thing long before I decided to name it Wizard of Za. And so it just kind of ended up going hand in hand, where in the Wizard of Oz, they're, you know, this long adventure to finally find the man behind the curtain who's pulling all the strings in town. And it's kind of the same thing with the pizza, which is really neat. We've had the same coincidence with, we serve Italian rainbow cookies. It's a traditional Italian cookie. We partner with Angie's Rainbow Cookies in town. And a lot of folks think, oh, rainbow, Wizard of Oz, how perfect. And it's like, no, like I was planning to serve rainbow cookies, whether that was the name or not, but it's just one of those coincidences that, again, it's like it was almost all meant to be. Like it all just came together so perfectly that I don't think I could have tried to do that again if I wanted to.